Okay, this is going to be the Fatboy Makeover. It's a project bike I picked up a little bit ago. It's a 2004 Harley Davidson Fatboy. Got it from a friend of mine. A little bit of backstory on it. It used to be his father's bike. His father had passed away. He inherited the bike. He rode it a bit, but he's more of a Ducati guy. It ended up in storage for a while, and I was talking with him one time, or actually with a group of friends. I mentioned I was looking at getting an old Harley, and he told me he had this sitting in storage, and he offered me it to me for a really good price that I couldn't refuse, so I bought it sight unseen. One of the things is that he did ride it over here. It had been sitting for a while, so we had to put a new battery in it, and still made it here with the old gas, but we got it here. Unlike most things you see on YouTube, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do everything. I've done a lot of bike rebuilds in my life, mostly dirt bikes. I've been doing it all my life, but I've never done anything like this before. So I'd like to start off with asking advice. Get some input on things. One of the first things I need to do is get a good stand for it, something I can put it up on while I work on it. I've looked at some of the big stands, but those will take up too much space in this garage, I think. I've seen smaller hydraulic stands at some of the, Harbor Freight, different places. So kind of like some input on that, from what you think would be the good stands, what you've bought, what you've used, what works well for you, what didn't work well. I'd like to have people get on here and subscribe to the channel, but then put your comments in. And I'd like to get feedback from you on what you liked on the bike, on the stand, what you didn't like, why you didn't like it. If you get in there and you look in the comments and someone already has comments on a stand that you're looking at that kind of mirror yours, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down so I can get a feedback on it and kind of get a gauge to work with on it. Another thing I'm going to need right off is a trickle charger. I've had the seat off a couple of times just to get it charged up, but need to get a trickle charger for it. Again, feedback on that. If there are any specialized tools. Now, I've worked with a lot on different dirt bikes and stuff before, and every now and then find where you need to have a specialized tool if you're going to work on something. If there's something I'm going to need, if I get some feedback on that, I'd really like to see it to begin with. Looking at different things on here. Got to start off with kind of taking a look at some of the leather and stuff on here. Now, I have had the seat off a few times. I did get saddle soap for it. I've used that a little bit. I still need to finish up doing that. But any feedback on that, and also different, if there's oils or something you can use that can kind of soften some of this leather, get it back down to where it should be, I'd appreciate that. Looking at the paint on it, that's one of the things I really like about this bike, is the way it kind of changes color as you go around it. I'd like to preserve this paint as much as I can. Looking at the chrome on it, I have bought some chrome cleaner and worked on it a little bit. A lot of this is really rough. It's got a lot of buildup on it, feedback and blistering on it. I did try some of the chrome cleaner up in here. It seemed to work pretty good, but if there's other products that can be recommended, I'd like to get some feedback on that. Looking at the pipes. Now, these are Vance & Hines pipes. The heat shield here, the chrome is definitely gone off of it. Don't know if there's a way to re-chrome it. I'm kind of leaning towards possibly taking that all off, blasting it, and again, I've had a sandblaster in the corner here from working on dirt bikes. I need to refurbish it, but if there's a good hydro blaster or something that would work on that, and also working all the small pieces on this that would clean it up, or even I've seen where they've got the laser blasters now. Those are really expensive. I get feedback on that. I'm thinking of just taking the chrome covers off of these, blasting it, and possibly doing a heat wrap. I think that might look good on this. If you can give me feedback on different heat wraps you've used, pluses and minuses on that, that would be great. Looking at the lights on this. Headlight doesn't work. The owner I got it from, he's changed it out a few times. Vibrations have taken it out. Think about going with LED lighting on this. Nice LED lighting kit. Feedback on what you think are good kits that you've used, ones you've had bad experiences with. Give me the feedback on that. Looking at actually the windshield while I'm up here. I haven't touched it yet. It's really filthy. I've seen in the past where if you put the wrong thing on a windshield or on different, glass, you can end up with a bad result from it if you try to go and fix it later. So if I get the feedback on the right material to use or right cleaner to use at first, that would be great. Looking at the paint again, I've got some body work that needs to be done. This bike was rear-ended at one point and the fender was dented. Now there is some scuff marks in the fender from the initial impact, but there's no cracking of the original paint. I don't know if there's a way I can mold that back and get it to where I can use the, save this fender and save the paint on it, because I'd really like to be able to do that at this point. Again, you can see how bad some of this chrome is back here. Fuel needs to be changed out of this. We're in Texas, it gets hot here. It tends to basically gum everything up when you get it into there. I'm surprised it made it over here. Now, fortunately, for this year Harley, they came up with, had both the fuel injected and the carbureted versions on these. This, fortunately, is a carbureted version, and I've got no problems with pulling apart carburetors, cleaning them out, putting them back together. I don't know if there's different fuel system cleaners I have to use, tank cleaners that can get out some of the buildup and gum that might be inside of that. Looking at these cases, again, any ideas on clearing that up, getting it cleaned up best on there would be appreciated. Now, I haven't been any deeper on this bike than pulling the seat off to charge it. I don't know what I'm going to find when I go deeper into it. So there's going to be a lot of other things to look at. Another thing, clutch cable. I found the clutch is really heavy to pull. Now that might be because I'm used to dirt bikes. Done a lot with those lighter clutches, but I've also noticed looking at this and inspecting the cables that's chewed through there. I don't know what's gotten into it. So probably looking at replacing these cables. I don't know who has good aftermarket cables for these. I know with building them for the older bikes, dirt bikes that are out of service, you go to different places and they build a cable for you. Terry Cable is one where they'll replace the cable for you, rebuild it. Looking at the emblems on here, I'd like to replace these. I'd like to actually get some deep sea diver related material on here, a Mark V or something. Same thing with the back emblem on the thing, on the sissy bar. Anything I can get out for that. Cleaning these wheels. That's another thing. I'm sure there's people out there that have a lot of experience working with these. I don't have that experience yet and would like to do things in the best way possible. So any information I can get, feedback I can get on that would be great. Oil I'm going to have to change, but I already have a kit that came with it that the previous owner had, so I'll probably be using that initially. But just taking a look at all that, trying to see what we can do, and want to bring this back as best I can without going too expensive on it. I paid $2,000 for the bike, and want to try to keep it in reasonably economical range, but just try to keep working on it, and we'll see what happens with it. First step I'm going to do is pull all the leather off and working on that first. That'll be next week's project, and go from there. Thank you.